Hey friends, welcome to our yoga practice. I'm so excited that we are meeting for our second time in 2 weeks in our Faith in an Anxious World yoga practice. So get ready, get your stretching on, get everything going. No, just kidding. This is not yoga. This is Grouplife. And so welcome SM to Grouplife this week. And I'm so excited what we got going on. Yes, this is our second week of Faith in an Anxious World. And we are going to be talking about life. We're going to be talking about how our lives work and how our relationships go along with that. I'm also so excited for Victoria. She's going to be leading us in a game today. And so we're going to get ready for some good stuff. I do have a public service announcement for us. This upcoming week, we are going to be doing a art challenge. So what you're going to be doing, the way you are going to participate in our art challenge is you are going to be creating art. If that's, you want to create a song, if you want to create a painting, if you want to do watercolor or drawing or whatnot, I want to see, and we in SM want to see your amazing art, and we want to see what you can do and what you have that you've learned during quarantine and can display for us. I know some of you have been making new music, some of you are drawing more, so we want to see what you can do. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take your painting, take whatever you have and capture it and send it to us at sm@occ.org, or you can DM us on our Instagram. So you're going to get your art to us, and then we are going to show and showcase what your art is in the upcoming weeks. So thanks friends. Thank you for listening to this public service announcement. I'm so excited for the rest of our time together. Friends, take care and enjoy Grouplife.
Hey SM, it is game time. And tonight we're gonna play a good old-fashioned game of 2 truths and a lie. And what better way to get to know some interesting facts about your small group than this game? And in case you don't know how to play, it's pretty simple. You're gonna take turns, and when it's your turn, you're gonna say 2 things about you that are true and 1 thing that's a lie. And it's your small group's job to figure out which one's a lie and which 2 things are true. And they're gonna vote individually on which one they think is a lie. And then at the end, whoever has the most correct wins. Let me give you an example. So me, Victoria, I have been skydiving in Dubai, I have been cliff jumping in the Arabian Sea, and I've been bungee jumping in Mexico. 2 things are true, which one's a lie? My small group now would each individually vote on which one they thought was the lie. Well, spoiler alert, I have not been skydiving in Dubai. Other 2 are true. So, the things you want to make sure of is when it's your turn to make up a lie and things that are true about you, you want to keep it to things that you've done or seen, not your preferences, because no one really knows your preferences sometimes. Now here's some examples in case you don't get it.
Hey SM, here's 3 things about me. Are they true? You'll have to guess. First one, in middle school, I was on a stomp drill team. Number 2, I owned a donkey. Number 3, I flunked out of percussion in band. All right, here's the lie. Here is the lie. I did not flunk out of percussion in middle school. But I will tell you the truth is I got very close to flunking out. I got a D. And that's when I realized maybe band wasn't for me.
All right, 2 truths and a lie. Number 1, I haven't washed my hair in 13 days. Number 2, I was a spiritual advisor for my freshman cheer team. Go Colonels. And number 3, I auditioned for a very popular reality TV show. So, which is it? 1, 2, or 3? You guys, I was not the spiritual advisor for my high school cheer team. So, if you guessed number 2, congratulations, you win.
All right, my 2 truths and a lie are: I once ate a fat, juicy bug from under a tree. I ate monkey brains when I visited Africa. And I gutted and skinned a rabbit by myself. And the false thing is monkey brains. I've only heard of people doing that. Apparently it's really delicious though. Thanks for playing.
Hey SM, we're going to go into a time of worship, and the couple of songs that we're going to sing tonight are ones that talk about this series that we're in right now about anxiety and fear, how Jesus can help us when we're feeling those things. So I encourage you to sing along and spend some time worshiping. When darkness tries to roll over my bones, when sorrow comes to steal the joy I own, when brokenness and pain is all I know, oh, I won't be shaken. No, I won't be shaken. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. Shame no longer has a place to hide, and I am not a captive to the lies. I'm not afraid to leave my past behind. Oh, I won't be shaken. No, I won't be shaken. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. There's power that can break off every chain. There's power that can empty out a grave. There's resurrection power
was just, they were always there for me.
I think my parents.
I mean, I would just go to my closest friends.
Youth leader or my mentor.
Humans were made to live in relationship with one another. We live in families, hang out with friends. We learn best from other people. Relationships can help calm us down, make us feel safe, and help us when anxious feelings start to make us feel stuck.
I think definitely my mother. She went through a lot of the same things I did. What she says to me about that really helps.
My grandmother is very, very supportive when it comes to school or how to deal with my stress.
I have 2 brothers and 3 sisters, so I usually talk about the problem with my brothers and sisters. Yeah, so sometimes when I do have to get stuff done and everybody's coming into my room, my mom's telling me to wash the dishes, my brother's telling me to play games with them, I'm like, can you please leave me alone? I'm trying to get this stuff done.
You'll start to realize, parents aren't perfect. They're not always gonna know what to do.
For example, if my mom would try to fix something for me, she would then get anxious. And then it was this isn't helping anyone.
I grew up in a family where it was you do what you do because you have to do it. You didn't cry about it. But I think one thing I always knew was I always had a rock. My mom was always there.
When I was in high school, my parents were actually going through a divorce. So just going through that while also trying to focus on my own things.
My family, they definitely live up to that just older generation stereotype of you don't talk about generically mental health issues or at a basic level emotions that you're feeling. To their credit is that there's a silent love that they commit to. I'm thinking about all the times that my father would wake up in the morning or make the time available to get me to places, let me do my things, so to speak.
I come from a Latin American family, and so going away for college was not our custom. And I wanted to do what all my friends were doing, so my anxiety also just had a cultural piece to it. Did I want to be my own person and do what my friends were doing, or did I want to honor what was my family's idea of what you should do after high school? And I applied to schools out of state and then ended up actually staying home. My dad always made himself available, so if I was having a really overwhelming day, just his paying attention to what was happening was really helpful.
Definitely, there are times where you go to them and either it's because they're too busy or whatever, and you tell them and they just give you nothing. They are a resource, but when they fail you, which sometimes they do, you have to just follow through to another resource that you have.
I think counselors and teachers really help. Sometimes you won't have the best counselor or teacher, but you will find one that you can really open up to.
The people you're comfortable with, the people whose opinions you respect and honor.
My mom's friends, they were very helpful too. And then just my closest friends, even their parents sometimes would help too.
There's definitely the individuals who would come help lead youth group ministry stuff or tutoring. Most of those young adults, because I went to a Korean American church, happen to be also Korean Americans, and so having people you can relate to helps.
My youth leaders specifically were the second parents that I had and could go to and just ask for prayer or ask for help or just vent. So having relationships with adults outside my family were really helpful to help me navigate my anxious times in high school.
All right, so we're talking about life in an anxious world, and I've got my daughter Betty here with me, and we're just gonna make a list of some of the things that make us anxious in this world. I'm gonna go first. The first thing that makes me anxious is heights. I am scared of heights. What about you?
Something that makes me anxious is spiders.
Yeah, you're real afraid of spiders. When there's a spider in your room, who comes to your rescue?
My dad.
Yeah,
My dad
not
does.
me. Not me. Not me. Definitely dad. Let's see, I think I'm feeling a little anxious about summer. I wonder what we'll be able to do and what we won't be able to do this summer, and that's making me a little anxious.
I'm anxious to be starting high school next fall.
Yeah, welcome to HSM High School. That's big news. That can make you anxious, uncertain of what that's gonna look like. I know another thing that's making me anxious is about coming back to church. When do we get to do it? What will it look like? Those kind of things.
Another thing that makes me anxious is the schoolwork, trying to do everything online.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things building up with inside of us, a lot of pressure going on inside. And we all feel anxious, but anxiety sometimes, or anxiousness, or that anxious feeling can be important because it might be telling us something's going on, something's wrong. Maybe it's telling us we're in danger, maybe it's saying something's wrong in our body or in our relationships, or maybe it's just telling us we need more food or sleep, or that we need that spider out of our room right now. That's what anxiety is telling us. And the key is to listen to that anxiety. And maybe you could ask these two questions. Where is God in the midst of my anxiety? And what might God or my anxiety be trying to tell me? Today, we're going to talk about family and friends and the impact they can have on how we feel about things. What's the last thing you really argued about with someone at your house? I mean, it probably was recent because we're all stuck at home. It's proving one thing, that people can be annoying. I grew up with this girl named Kimberly. Kimberly and I grew up, this is a picture of us in high school. Look at, I'm in the middle. She's wearing that sweet jacket right here. Kimberly, me. We grew up together. We grew up since grade school at church, and we were like the only two girls in our small little church in the same grade, and we really annoyed each other. Like, we really could not stand each other. And she thought I was so immature, which I'm sure you find hard to believe, and I thought she was just way too mature. She hung out with all the older kids. And I remember one day in youth group when she declared in front of everybody, don't call me Kim anymore. My name is Kimberly. And I remember being so annoyed. And I was the one kid that was like, whatever, Kim. You know, I was a total pain. I was not a cool kid. And it wasn't probably until high school where we ended up at a camp together and had this moment at camp that changed everything. And Kimberly became one of my best friends, my dearest friends. And we have been friends for over 30 years now, a long time. And we've had some of the greatest moments ever together. We've experienced some high moments together. And we've experienced some really low moments together. We have had all of those in between. And some of them were hard times, some of them were fun times. But we for sure annoyed each other plenty, especially when you're stuck. Kimberly is the only friend I've ever had who legit smacked me, and I deserved it. Like it was a good wake-up call for me, you know? So this time we all know that people around us can be annoying at times, but the people we love the most tend to get under our skin the most sometimes. And these relationships can be a lot to handle, but we still really need them. And so in Luke 5, we're going to read a story about Jesus first meeting some of his disciples. So let's listen to Andrea as she reads the story from Luke 5.
Jesus calls his first disciples. One day, as Jesus was standing by the lake of Gennesaret, the people were crowding around him and listening to the word of God. He saw at the water's edge 2 boats, left there by fishermen who were washing their nets. He got into one of the boats, the one belonging to Simon, and asked for him to put a little out from shore. Then he sat down and taught the people from the boat. When he had finished speaking, he said to Simon, "Put out into deep water and let down the nets for a catch." Simon answered, "Master, we've worked hard all night and haven't caught anything. But because you say so, I will let down the nets." When they had done so, they caught such a large number of fish that their nets began to break. So they signaled their partners in the other boats to come and help them, and they came and filled both boats so full that they began to sink. When Simon Peter saw this, he fell at Jesus' knees and said, "Go away from me, Lord, I am a sinful man." For he and all his companions were astonished at the catch of fish they had taken. And so were James and John, the sons of Zebedee, Simon's partners. Then Jesus said to Simon, "Don't be afraid. From now on, you will fish for people." So they pulled their boats up on shore, left everything, and followed him.
So last week we talked about Jesus in a boat too. Seems like a theme, right? So Jesus is traveling. He's traveling around. He gets in this guy Simon's boat, and Simon just lets him. He just lets this man get in his boat. And then Jesus starts giving Simon advice, like, who is this guy? And Simon has to decide, like, am I going to just take this guy's advice, this random guy's advice? Obviously, we know he's not random, but Jesus tells him, go out a little bit further and send your nets. This guy is giving Simon advice about something he's a professional in. But Simon follows his advice. He does it. And when he does it, something happens wild. The boat starts filling up with fish, like being overwhelmed
by all the fish. Can you imagine how many fish that must have been? And actually, the boat gets unsteady and it causes anxiety and fear in Simon. And it makes him, and Simon's also Peter. We know that's his name, Simon and Peter. Same name, like it's not like two different totally names. It's who's Simon Peter. So Simon, he starts to get worried about what's happening. And his immediate response is not to think about how overwhelmed he is about all the fish in the boat. Instead, he's overwhelmed with his own failures and his own mistakes, and he turns inward and starts to think about what a failure he is. And then what does he do? He wants to push Jesus away. Peter says, "Leave me. I'm not good. Go away." And I think that can happen to us. That's a pattern inside each of us, right? We have this pattern where we start to feel overwhelmed and we start to feel anxious about life. And what do we want to do? We want to go to our room and we want to be alone and we don't want anyone around us and we just want to be alone with our worry and our anxiety. But Jesus says two game-changing things to Simon in verse 10. The first thing he says is, don't be afraid. And then the second thing he says is, from now on, you're gonna fish for people. So what does Jesus do? Jesus reassures him, and then Jesus reconnects with him. There's something that happens in this moment. Jesus is changing the story for Simon. He's changing the story for Peter, and he's forming a circle of people around him for what he's gonna do. He's making this circle of people for each other. And Jesus is giving Peter this new vision of what it's going to be like to follow Jesus. You're going to have this church, this group of people, this circle around you that's going to become like a family. And you're going to form a new kind of family. And we see that in the Gospels. We see that in the book of Mark. Peter is actually what they say, that Jesus said to Peter, you're going to be the rock on which I build this new family. And so that's what's happening. And so it got me thinking of a question. Who's in your circle? And so what I did this. I drew a little, my circle. And here's what I realized when I drew it, is that my circle, I wrote it a little big, but I think it would be so great for some of us to just take a little time and put like, who's in our circle? Josh, obviously. I'm gonna put Kimberly, because she's still in my circle. I actually still call her Kim. It's one of our things that this makes our friendship so special. But this would be great for everyone to do. Make a circle, put my circle, who are my people, and start writing the names of who are in your inner circle. Who are the people that are near to you, who are around you, who love you, and who care for you. And again, these may be people who get under your skin sometimes, right? They may be annoying, they may frustrate you, they may give you advice you don't always want to hear. But when the boat gets shaky, when life gets overwhelming, sometimes these are the people we tend to push away first, right? We start to push them away, and Jesus is offering Peter, Simon, and us another way. Get close. Pull people closer to you, especially people in your circle. I talked about Kimberly earlier, and when my mom left my dad when I was in college, Kimberly was there for me. I tried so hard to be alone. I hid out in my dorm room. But Kimberly would not let me. And even though we were kind of a little bit annoyed with each other because I didn't want her there, even in that moment, I knew it was the right thing for her to be there. And now even more, I know how important for me it was that she was with me during that season of my life. More often than not, God calls us to stick with our people because we were designed to be connected. And that's the first thing you need to remember tonight, is we are designed to be connected. It's in our DNA, it's in who we are. No one is meant to live alone. It doesn't matter who you are, or what kind of personality type, or what any of that stuff is. We are designed for relationship, for connection. It's in our DNA, right? That's who we are. And so it's so important then to recognize we need to stay connected to each other. The second thing is this. I want you to look up, look inside, and look around. When you're feeling anxious, you need to first look up at God, reconnect with God. Remember that He's with you, that you're not alone, that He's with you. And then I want you to look inside. I want you to find out, what is God doing inside of me? What is God teaching me in this moment? What is this anxiety causing for me right now? And do a little self-reflection. and then look around to see who's around you, who's there to support you, and I want you to focus on building and strengthening those relationships. Okay, here's the question for tonight. Here's the big question for tonight. Who has God already put in your circle? Who is it? And first thing I want you to do, I think our tendency is to go right with friends. And I think that's good that some of us in our small groups, in our schools, we have amazing friends that God has given us. But tonight I also want you to think about who in your family could be there to be in your circle. Who could be in your family? It could be a grandparent, an aunt, an uncle, a cousin, a parent, a sibling. But who in your family has God given you during this time for when you feel anxious to be a person who surrounds you, who you can talk to, who instead of pushing them away, you could draw near to them. Families are a gift, friends are a gift. We are designed for connection. And in this world where we feel so much anxiety, and when we feel the world is shaking in a way that's overwhelming us, we need people in our circle. We need our Kimberlys. You need a Kimberly. And so I want to encourage you to think about that tonight. But let me pray for you as we end. Jesus, thanks for every student here tonight who's with their group, and thanks for the ones that are watching with their families. God, I pray right now that you would give them eyes to see the people around them who you have given them to be with them in the midst of the storm and the shakiness and the wobbliness of this world. We love you so much. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you so much, Neely and Betty, for sharing with us about what it means to have friendships and life in a relational world. You in your small groups, I hope that you all have an amazing time as you continue your conversation about what it is to have faith in this time and how we can support one another. Enjoy, friends, and take care.